Hello everyone, I'm Grandmaster Erwin Lamy for chessity.com. In this video I'm going to show you part of the game between two former world champions, Vishy Anand and Vesselin Topalov. As you can see, the position is characterized by the two bishops, both of the white squares, and given the fact that white has managed to put his pawns on mostly dark squares and fix those weaknesses on e6 and d5, the squares of the bishops, it means that white is better. Another reason why white is better is that he has more space. That's also very important. He has more space to maneuver, more space to improve. And in this game, which was very instructively won by Anand, he won his third game in the candidates. It was his third win in the candidates tournament, and it was more or less instrumental for his overall victory. He started with the move a2, a4, and that is a very important move, because in the future, white would like to put that pawn on a5 and fix yet more pawns on the wrong squares of the white square bishop. So very instructive move there. Bishop e8, also a very instructive move. Obviously the bishop on c6 was just looking at his own pawns, and that bishop Vesselin Topalov is trying to bring it over to g6, and where it will actually have a very serious task of attacking the c pawn. King b2, slowly improving his position. Bishop g6, bishop h3, h6, and this is a very important position. During the game, I thought that h6 was a very serious mistake and that black should be able to hold here, but I'm not completely sure anymore. During the game, I thought that bishop e4 was the right move. And after, for example, queen b6, we would go king f7. And although it is clear that white is pressuring here, for example, p7 is weak, e6 is a target, and white can slowly improve on the king side, so queen side, whichever way he wants. I didn't feel that it should be decisive, but there's a very important nuance here. White can play the move h4, h5, making use of the fact that queen takes g5 is not possible, because it would obviously run into queen takes e6 check, and that's something we cannot allow. While after g6, h6, white has extremely favorably managed to fix the structure on the king side, and now his advantage really takes gigantic shape. For example, bishop f5, bishop f1, and even here also queen takes g5 would run into queen takes b7, and it transpires that, well, first of all, this is check, and then the queen side pawns should be much faster than the passed g pawn that black has just made on the g file. So in any case, black's position was difficult here, but I feel that h6 accelerated black's defeat. After g takes h6, g takes h6, Anand played queen g4, very strong, hitting both the bishop and the pawn. Of course, the bishop is pinned, so the desirable move bishop f5 cannot be played. King f7 is forced, therefore, and now the move h5 is very important. So he's fixing the pawn very instructively on a white square, which you wouldn't expect, but he has very concrete reasons to do so. Bishop e4. It's very important that bishop f5 runs into queen f4. And after queen g5, which looks very desirable, white is actually winning, because in the pawn endgame, it is simply impossible to stop both the h and the e pawns. So they're simply, one of the two is going to touch down and promote to a queen. So that means bishop f5 is not possible, and black has to wait with bishop e4. Anand played a5, and apart from the fact that this is generally it's a good move to fix the pawns on white squares, as I said before. It also places black in Zugzwang. For example, if black plays a move like queen d7, then queen f4 will immediately decide. Because after king g7, queen f6, we see that the queen was definitely needed on e7 to cover this f6 square. If black makes a king move, then obviously the e6 pawn will fall, and that should quickly decide matters too. So there's really only bishop moves, at black's disposal. So he plays the move bishop h7. Now just calmly improves his position with c3. And again, as I said before, bishop f5 would simply run in queen f4, and the same pawn endgame I don't have to show you again. I think the pawn endgame is still lost. Basically, no difference with the line I showed you before. So black really has to wait with bishop e4. But how should white continue now? Because black is ready to bring his bishop back and forth between h7 and e4, and for the moment he is still standing. So it's a matter of breaking black's defenses, and Anand does it with the move c3, c4. First of all, it is important to note that taking the pawn obviously loses the bishop, so that's not an option. Then if black plays his usual waiting move bishop h7, then with this pawn on c4, it would lose the d-pawn to c takes d5, e takes d5, queen f3 check, king g7, and queen takes d5. And now with the position opened, also suddenly this b-pawn becomes very weak. The bishop is ready to make use of that together with the queen, and this should be a rather easy technical win for white. So black cannot take the pawn. He also cannot play his usual waiting move, so he has to play something else, and Topalov decided on bishop f5. Queen f4 is Vishy's natural response, and again queen g5, the pawn endgame is losing, so he decided to take on c4. And now Vishy took things into a winning queen endgame. King e8, queen, of course not b takes c4, because it would allow queen b4 check, and such counterplay we don't want to even think about. So queen c8 is what Vishy played, so that after king f7 he also takes the pawn on c4 with check. King g7, queen d5, and white has an extra pawn. He has more space. It will be very easy for white to bring his king over, and this e-pawn should decide. That's indeed what happened. I can surely recommend you to play through this game on the website. I have in my blog post that I've posted there, I have posted the entire game, which I surely recommend you to play through. At this point, I'm going to close the video because the main point is clear. I think Vishy showing excellent technique, making use of that good square, good against a bad bishop, and also using transforming his advantages very nicely from that good position into a winning queen endgame, using Zugzwang, using all kinds of typical endgame techniques, which I think are very instructive. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and don't go anywhere. chesscity.com, the place to improve your chess. Thank you.